How's it going, everybody? My name is Jason. I'll be your host today on this CFL talk show, Hussey's Huddle. In the last video, we covered the best current CFL player from every OUA football program, and now we conclude our series with Canada West, a conference that has consistently produced high-level CFL talent. But really quick before we get started, if you're into the CFL, we got lots of free agency and draft and other content on the way. So if that interests you, consider subscribing to Hussey's Huddle or liking this video, as it helps me out a ton and I really appreciate it. With that said, let's get into today's video. We kick off our list with one of the CFL's best Swiss Army knives, Nic Demski. Growing up in Winnipeg, Demski attended the University of Manitoba from 2011 to 2014, where he was a superstar as a four-time All-Canadian. He was an impact player not just in the receiving game, but as an elite-level return man. His star-studded USports career led him to be highly regarded come draft season in 2015. At the CFL Combine, he impressed in a variety of drills, including having the fastest three-cone time. Demski brought this tremendous resume into the CFL draft, where he would be selected in the first round, 6th overall, by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. After flashing his ability in 3 seasons with the Roughriders, Demski's career really took flight when he signed with his hometown Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2018. Over the last 2 seasons in Winnipeg, he has eclipsed 500 receiving yards on both occasions, while also being used in the running game in a creative Bombers offense. There were even times last season that Demski was used as a blocker. Simply put, the dude's a football player and has been an incredibly valuable piece of Winnipeg's offense. Honorable mentions for the University of Manitoba include linebacker DJ Lalama, who is a linebacker that's been able to gain a little bit of playing time on the defensive side over the last couple of years. And then Slot-Back Anthony Coombs, who's honestly just a slightly worse version of what Nic Demski brings to the table. He's a guy that you can hand the ball off to. He can also play a slot receiver role. There are few CFL players of the past decade that match the resume of a Regina selection, Brendon Labatte. The Weyburn, Saskatchewan native played for the Rams from 2004 till 2007, locking down one of the program's starting guard spots in his final 2 seasons. As a senior in 2007, he was named a Canada West All-Star and was highly regarded going into the 2008 CFL draft. He would be selected by Winnipeg in the first round, 6th overall, and would quickly develop into one of the league's best offensive linemen. By his second season in 2009, he was already named a CFL Divisional All-Star, an honor he would become very familiar with. This would begin a run of 10 consecutive Division All-Star selections for Labatte, while 3 times being named a league-wide All-Star. In 2012, Labatte signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and in 2013, he would be named the league's most outstanding offensive lineman, along with capturing the Grey Cup that season. The last time we saw Labatte in 2019, he dealt with a variety of nagging injuries and had his divisional all-star streak snapped. However, I, for one, would not bet against a return to form for the legendary offensive lineman. For Regina, we got a few honorable mentions to get to. Punter John Ryan, who had a long career in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks. And then, I just want to say that no school in Canada has developed NFL talent in recent years like Regina. You got Hakeem Hicks, who is currently a member of the Chicago Bears. You have Brett Jones, who is currently a member of the Minnesota Vikings. And you got Tavon Campbell, who is currently a member of the Los Angeles Chargers. We stay along the offensive line for our Saskatchewan selection, Evan Johnson. A Regina native, Johnson would opt to jump over to Saskatoon for university, playing for the Huskies from 2012 to 2016. After redshirting his freshman season and not seeing much game action over his first 2 years, he emerged as a high-level performer, and after a stellar senior season, he declared for the 2017 CFL Draft. Johnson would be selected in the first round, 9th overall by the Ottawa Redblacks, a team known for heavy national investment in their offensive line. Over his first 3 seasons, Johnson would only miss a total of 2 games. In 2019, I would argue that Johnson was the Red Blacks' top offensive lineman, one of the few bright spots on offense for Ottawa. He is a very efficient pass protector with good technique, and you rarely see him get beat badly when he does lose his matchup. Still very young, Johnson hits the free agent market in February. Big honorable mention in the Saskatchewan section for Patrick Newfield, who you easily could have selected for this list. I just prefer Johnson as a player at this point. Newfield's had a great career, and he became a Grey Cup champion in 2019 with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Alberta born and raised, David Beard was born to play for the Golden Bears. During his high school days, Beard played a variety of different positions, showcasing his versatility as an athlete. Originally recruited to Alberta as a defensive lineman, Beard would convert to offensive line for his final 2 seasons. In his senior season, he became a starter, and it all came together, with him being rewarded with an appearance in the CIS East-West Bowl. In 2015, he entered the CFL draft and was selected in the second round with the 16th pick by Edmonton. Despite his relative inexperience along the offensive line, he surprisingly made the team's roster as a true rookie. He would see some time at guard over his first few seasons, but eventually found his perfect role as his team's center. Beard is coming off a masterful 2019, where he was one of the top linemen in the league, helping coordinate a line that allowed by far the fewest sacks of any CFL team. I would argue he is the best center in the CFL today. Our Alberta honorable mention is offensive lineman Mark Cordy of the Ottawa Redblacks. Cordy is entering his 3rd season in 2021 and is coming off a year where he started as full-time left tackle for the Redblacks. He showed some flashes, he had his breakdowns, but overall I was very pleased with what I saw. A ton of options for the Dinos, but our selection is Edem, the veteran defensive back. Edem, originally from Nigeria, grew up in Brampton and would actually begin his collegiate journey at Champlain Regional College in Lennoxville, Quebec. From there, he would earn an opportunity with the McGill Redmen in 2009, where he played safety. However, he would decide to transfer to Calgary after 1 season, sitting out 2010 due to eligibility rules. In 2011, he would make his debut for the Dinos at halfback, and in 2012 would make the transition to linebacker. Both seasons, Edem was a standout, with the level of physicality and athleticism to dominate the USports level. Calgary would also capture back-to-back Hardy Cups those seasons. In 2013, Edem was an elite prospect for the CFL draft. This was reflected when the Montreal Alouettes selected him in the first round, 3rd overall. He instantly became a contributor at the CFL level, with the defensive back having an electric rookie campaign of 56 total tackles, 5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. For this, he earned a selection to the league's All-Star team. However, Edem would struggle with injuries and consistency over the next couple of years, and the Alouettes traded him away. After a couple of uneventful stops in Hamilton and BC, Edem would be traded to the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 2017, where his career would see a resurgence. Over the last 2 seasons, Edem has been placed in his ideal role as a physical linebacker safety hybrid who is best deployed in blitz packages. Edem is one of the countless pending free agents for Saskatchewan in 2021. One of the biggest reasons I chose Edem for the Calgary selection was because I couldn't choose between the 3 great offensive linemen from Calgary that are currently in the CFL. Suk Chung, Darius Sirocco, and Sean McEwen all have their strengths as offensive linemen, but they're all high-level starters. And it's incredible how often Calgary has been able to produce high-level offensive linemen in the CFL. Our selection for the Thunderbirds is none other than Taylor Loffler, a player with one hell of a story. Playing his high school football in Kelowna, BC, Loffler was heavily recruited out of high school by several high-profile universities. Eventually, he made his decision, and it was to attend Boise State University in Idaho. Unfortunately, shortly after committing to Boise, Loffler would suffer a torn ACL in a high school football game. Luckily, Boise stood by the recruit, allowing him to rehab under a scholarship. By the spring of 2012, Loffler had recovered from his injury, but during a practice with Boise State, he would suffer the same exact injury that he had just recovered from. He rehabbed again, fighting through it to eventually hit the field in 2013 with Boise. But after the season, he had experienced discomfort, and after examination by team doctors, they determined that he would require surgery on his hips. Because of this setback, Loffler never returned to the field with Boise, and after graduating in 2014, the once highly touted recruit decided to return north of the border and transferred to UBC in 2015. In 2015, he had an epic return to the field, dominating USports with an eye-popping 98 tackles, 4 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and a forced fumble, while helping the Thunderbirds win the Vanier Cup. Due to injury, Loffler would fall to the 3rd round of the 2016 CFL draft, being selected by Winnipeg. Loffler emerged instantly with one of the best rookie seasons by any Canadian player ever, becoming one of the few ever national first-year players to reach the All-Star team. He followed that up with 2 more All-Star selections for Winnipeg. In 2019, he would leave Winnipeg for Montreal, and was well on his way to a 4th All-Star appearance when disaster struck yet again, with another ACL injury. Still a very young player, Loffler has now had a considerable amount of time to recover in preparation for 2021. He has also been on record saying that he has no plans to retire. When healthy, this guy is the CFL's best all-around safety, affecting both the run, the pass. He's just an overall dominant playmaker. It'll be interesting to see where he lands in 2021 free agency. An interesting honorable mentions section here for UBC. Offensive lineman Dakota Shepley. Many probably would have put him first on the list, but besides the fact that he's technically right now he's an NFL player because he's on the San Francisco 49ers roster, I also would have taken Loffler. I think Loffler just has proven more at this point. But Shepley, he's an incredibly talented offensive lineman. And then Michael O'Connor, who is one of the few rostered Canadian quarterbacks in the CFL. So this concludes our series on the best CFL player from every Canadian USports program. I'd like to thank you guys all for watching this series. If you missed one of the previous editions, be sure to check out the playlist I've created on the channel. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.